You are at Lake Rant, where I rant about whatever my $10 a month plus pages want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This one's for Lord Liquid Bacon II, who says, rant about Nexus Mania. Nexus Mania is a real solid artist who is a fan of me and a lot of other people in the PCP, so he's done a lot of fan art for us that is all very gorgeous. He has done tons of his own comics, which are cool, entertaining, like flashy action stuff. He's got his Bunny Wave comic, which is sort of in the vein of like Gunsmith Cats. It's worth a read. His stuff is fun. I would say that his writing is, it's fairly like, I'm not going to say generic. I don't think he necessarily has come up with an interesting storyline in a comic. He's much more focused on style and action, which is fine, especially for something like Bunny Wave. I think that maybe if he had a story, like a more compelling story at the heart of something he was creating, it might lend more people to really gravitate towards it. Because Nexus has always kind of struggled with growing an audience. In spite of how impressive his artwork is, in spite of the fact that some individual pieces have blown up because he draws extremely accurate Boku no Hero Academia fan art and Dragon Ball. He's done animations, and some of those animations have been really big, but they haven't translated to a lot of success for him personally. And I see him, sort of beating himself up and struggling on Twitter as though it were the fault of his art not being good enough, which is by no means the case. His art is fantastic. And even it's not even that the marketing is poor necessarily. I think that people just need to have more of an understanding of who he is. Like, I think that when you see, accurate Boku no Hero or Dragon Ball art, you don't really think that much about who drew it, compared to if you see an original piece and you think, oh wow, and he's got a lot of good original pieces, and again, good original comics, but I don't think that they necessarily make you attached to those characters to where you're like, oh, I'm in love with this character. There's not enough narrative grip, and I think that might be something that could help, as well as just not being so down on himself. I mean, Nexus, man, I know you're watching this. Don't beat yourself up so much, dude. Like, your stuff is good. It's not your fault. I won't say it's not your fault that it's not popular, but I mean, popularity is always largely luck-based. Most people who are good are going to wallow in obscurity for a very long time. And cracking the market has nothing to do with getting better as an artist. It's all about figuring out what people want. It's all about navigating, the artistic space. And maybe if, you have certain weaknesses, instead of like worrying about the fact that you have those weaknesses, find somebody else who can compensate them. Like, there's plenty of artists who work with writers. There's plenty of people who who need some kind of marketing or manager. I know it's difficult, especially because you do not live in America, so you don't have all the like publishing opportunities that you might have easier access to in other places. I don't know how your financial situation is. There's a lot of difficulties that come with being an artist, and I don't think you should beat yourself up over the fact that you're working in one of the hardest fucking industries there is. It's very difficult to get recognized as an artist. And it's not to say that I don't think, like, if I were to give you advice, like, oh, you just need to write a story that really blows people away. Like, yeah, fucking real easy to do that, like, because I've totally done that myself. Like, I can't even teach you how to do it, So it's kind of a matter of, like, instead of, I would say that if you want to grow, you need to just ask yourself, like, what are people looking for, and how can I give it to them? Like, what do people respond to? What makes people emotionally care about me as an artist, and how can I give them that? And I don't even think you've done a bad job of it. I think there's a lot of bad luck, but I do think you need to stop beating yourself up, because when people see an artist who is... People respond to confidence. People respond to your ability to convey the idea that you are serious about what you're doing and you're going to make it. And if you convey the image of, like, I might give up, or I might not be able to make it, I might not be strong enough, then people won't believe in you, and they won't want to support you as much, because they think, oh, well, I don't know if you're ever going to, I don't know if you're going to give up at some point, So maybe that affects me more personally. Like, for people I'm friends with, I'm very particular that I will only really, like, help and promote people if I really understand what they're trying to do and why, and, like, what the end goal is. So, like in your case, and granted, I don't even follow you on Twitter, so I can't pretend like I really know what your goals are as an artist. But that's my advice. I think your stuff is fucking sick. I think you definitely deserve more attention. Maybe this video will help. But what I really want from Nexus, beyond the amazing artwork that's already there, is maybe something with a little bit more like narrative and emotion behind it. Not purely just like action and spectacle and trying to be fun and cool, but something that's more introspective. I mean, for somebody who clearly grapples with a lot of anxiety and depression, it doesn't really show up in the art. So maybe make some art about the anxiety and depression. That might reach people even more than cool things and flashy stuff. But that's just one idea. You should not take my advice as gospel, because I'm clearly I'm not the best at marketing myself either. But that's just where my instinct tells me that you should go. Hopefully this came off as complimentary and not insulting in any way, because I do really like your stuff. So yeah, check out Nexus Mania.